November the 9th, 1938. In California, Walt Disney has wowed the world with the first ever feature-length cartoon, Snow White. In New York, Orson Welles is about to bring Martians to America in a dramatic radio broadcast. While in China, a real invasion is underway by Japanese imperial forces. And in Germany, Adolf Hitler is about to sit down to dinner. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. Tonight is one of the highlights of the Nazi calendar, the anniversary of Hitler's first attempt to seize power here in Munich 15 years ago. It's a chance to catch up with old comrades from the early days of the struggle. And for the upper ranks, a night to put aside their petty rivalries and relax. But behind the smiles, there is tension. Joseph Goebbels is Reich Minister for Propaganda. So far, in the eyes of the Führer, he's been a man of limited value. His career is very much on the line. But tonight, all that will change. He will prove that he too is a man of action. A telegram arrives for the Führer. News important enough to interrupt a state occasion. For Goebbels, it is a gift from the heavens. This one piece of news will make his career, if he can persuade the Führer to let him take charge of the evening. Hitler traditionally makes a speech. Goebbels asks to make it instead. It's an incredible demand, given the importance of the occasion. But Goebbels knows that this is his moment, and he must seize it. Hitler finally gives way and leaves the party early. The telegram concerns a man who less than a week ago, no one had even heard of. At 5 that afternoon, Ernst vom Rath, third secretary to the German ambassador in Paris, is pronounced dead. He has been shot. And the man who pulled the trigger, 17-year-old Herschel Grunspan, is a Jew. For this single act, the Jews will be made to pay a millionfold. With their homes and businesses, with their freedom, and with their lives. "1938 is the 5th year of Hitler's National Socialist regime. For 5 years, Jews have been blamed for every economic failure of the nation, and gradually, the legal noose has closed around their necks. They are barred from most professions, and their shops and businesses are boycotted. Their books have been burned, and they are excluded from the arts. Even their children are publicly shunned and reviled. Many wonder how much worse it can get. They will soon find out. In Munich, Goebbels is about to light the touch paper to the Holocaust.
Meine deutschen Volksgenossen, das Deutsche Reich ist heute in großer Bedrohung.
He begins on a familiar theme, attacking the Jew as a threat to the peace and security of the Reich.
Jeder einzelne Jude ist aufgrund seiner Geburt und Rasse ein Teil der internationalen Verschwörung gegen das nationalsozialistische Deutschland.
He then breaks the news of vom Rath's death. It is the perfect platform on which to build his case for revenge. Revenge for an act in which he says, all the world's Jews must share the guilt.
Tat eines Einzeljuden, wie in diesem Fall Herrscher Grünspan, sondern der Ausdruck des gesamten Weltjudentums dem deutschen Volk zu schaden. Wir müssen etwas gegen unternehmen.
700 kilometers.
Einzelne Jude ist in diesem historischen Ringen unser Feind. Ihr Ziel ist die Vernichtung und der Untergang Deutschlands. Und sie werden ihre gesamten Kräfte dafür aufwenden, dieses Ziel in die Tat umzusetzen. Wir müssen uns zur Wehr setzen, meine deutschen Volksgenossen.
I can get. They will soon find out.
Historischen Ringen unser Feind.
Nazism is no longer confined to Germany. As well as enjoying a new and welcoming home in Austria, the Reich has recently swallowed Czechoslovakia and parts of Western Poland. The machinery is in place to turn Goebbels' poisoned words into direct action across half the continent. The only questions that remain: how far dare he go? And how far will the people follow?
Das deutsche Volk wird es beenden!
The party bosses are roused to action. It's 1:20 a.m. SS Obergruppenführer Richard Heydrich distills the essence of Goebbels' speech into a series of direct orders. To be sent to all police and SS units across the Reich, it's a blueprint for ethnic cleansing. Demonstrations against Jews are expected and must not be prevented. Jewish property may be destroyed, but not looted. Absolute protection must be provided to non-Jewish properties. As many Jews as possible, for now only healthy males, are to be arrested. All concentration camps are to be alerted to accommodate them. The orders are carefully worded to suggest a containing role for the police in the face of spontaneous public anger. Meanwhile, another set of orders is given over the phone. And throughout the Reich, gangs of young men are let loose in the night with a license to terrorize Jews and destroy their property. But for some, this does not go nearly far enough. By tradition, new SS recruits are sworn in tonight, in a mass ritual across the nation. Here in Innsbruck as elsewhere, they will soon get the chance to prove their allegiance to the Führer by shedding blood.
Ich schwöre dir.
SS Oberführer Hans von Feil has scores to settle. All across the country, windows are being smashed, synagogues and businesses burnt, homes ransacked in an orgy of destruction. In Laupheim, Englishman Michael Bruce witnesses a mob attacking the Jewish hospital for sick children.
In minutes, the windows were all smashed and the doors kicked in. Then all the children were forced out barefoot over the broken glass.
In Berlin, 14-year-old Michael Liebau witnesses the wholesale destruction of his home.
We watched them destroy the whole apartment of 5 rooms. Everything my parents had worked so hard for over 18 long years, gone in 10 minutes.
In Mannheim, Gunter Katz watches every Jewish home in his neighborhood broken open.
All the contents were thrown into the street. Anything that wasn't stolen by the neighbors was piled up outside and burned.
All across the Reich, the story is the same. In over 150 towns and villages, 7,500 homes, businesses, and synagogues are being destroyed. The message to the nation's Jews is unmistakably clear. And the death toll is mounting. An old lady in Elberstadt, rule of law no longer counts for Jews. Any Jew, all Jews, are now fair game. Without restraint, how far will their tormentors go? November 10th. A new day brings a new world for both Jew and non-Jew in Hitler's Germany. As Dr. Arta Flehinger recalls, it is a day of triumph of the strong over the weak. Flehinger is a professor at the main high school here in Baden-Baden and a Jew. He is arrested at his home and led into town. Here in Baden-Baden, a total of 80 Jewish men are rounded up in the early hours of November the 10th. Too many to shoot. The SS and local police have other plans. Paraded through the streets, they are verbally abused and spat on by their neighbors. Then herded into the synagogue where a grand finale awaits them. Today, there will be a special service in honor of the Führer. And so begins the final lesson in ethnic cleansing.
Willkommen zu unserem Gottesdienst. Können wir unseren Gottesdienst beginnen?
An SS officer welcomes them to their own house of God.
Und wir singen das Horst Wessel-Lied. Wir werden heute singen zu unserem
The
Gottesdienst.
service is ready to begin. And of course they will start with a hymn, a proper song, the Nazi anthem, Horst Wessel-Lied.
Genauso werden wir anfangen. Mit dem Horst Wessel-Lied. Das kennen wir doch alle, oder? 2, 3, 4, die Fahne hoch, die Reihen fest. Halt! Das geht
They are
laut.
not in good voice, so he makes them sing again, and again, and again.
Die Fahne hoch, die Reihen marschieren im Geist.
Their resistance is passive, but it's still resistance.
Halt! Habt ihr mich nicht verstanden?
He threatens to have them shot if they don't put their hearts into it.
Wir sollen laut sein.
It's important they get it right,
Von euch erschießen.
but they open their throats and swallow the essence of Nazism like a pill and allow their very identity as Jews to be consumed.
Mit Vorwärts nur eine kurze Zeit.
Eventually, the singing meets with approval. Now it's time for the sermon. What better text than Hitler's diatribe against the Jews, Mein Kampf? And who better to read than the local school professor?
Vorlesen.
Flehinger is given the job of enlightening his congregation.
So ist der Jude heute
The description of himself as a vile enemy of his own country sticks in Flehinger's throat.
Deutschlands.
Lauter!
He is encouraged to try harder.
Wo immer wir in der Welt Angriffe gegen Deutschland sehen, sind Juden ihre Fabrikanten, gleich wie auch im Frieden ein Draht.
But it is clear that even this pantomime is just a sideshow to the main event of the day.
Die Gedankengänge des Judentums dabei
The destruction of their beloved synagogue and their physical removal from Baden-Baden. One way or another. Eventually, bored with the routine humiliation, the SS torched the synagogue. That night, a total of 275 synagogues are burned to the ground. In a single stroke, the religious and cultural landscape of Germany is stripped of all its Jewish landmarks. By mid-morning, November 10th, the storm has blown itself out. But Germany has changed, and everyone knows it. The last shred of innocence has been stripped from the Third Reich. This is what the world will remember as Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. This is what the slogans mean. Juden raus. It's decision time for the German people. Whose side are they on? For Joseph Goebbels, it is the launchpad to a glittering career. He and other senior party officials proposed 2 resolutions. Firstly, that the Jews themselves should pay for the cleanup. 1 billion Reichsmarks is extracted in fines. But this is just the beginning. Secondly, they agree, the Jewish question will demand a more systematic solution. A final solution. Arthur Fleenger and 114 fellow Jews are spared the flames of Baden-Baden synagogue. Not out of compassion, but for a more efficient means of disposal. Here and there, a few escape abroad before the storm, including Oskar Gompertz and his family. But in the course of Kristallnacht, more than 26,000 are arrested and sent to the camps. The world reacts with horror, but does nothing. So begins the Holocaust. From all across Europe, more than 6 million Jewish men, women, and children will follow, never to return.